Welcome to Ultimate Survival Gear. Today, as you guys can see, I have something from Colombia. Yes, they're brand new, fresh on the market model. Vitesse Fasttrack waterproof mid-size hiking boot. Check this out, looks very promising, feels very lightweight, very comfortable. Overall, I do like these a lot. They run true to the size. Currently 69.71 on Amazon, so $70. The link is in the description below. As some of you already know, this review is not just a regular boot review. This review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival boots section. Basically, if this weren't just your hiking boots, but you were wearing them, you were hiking in them, or maybe you had them in the house and something bad happened. I don't know, natural disaster, war, whatever kind of situation, survival situation you want to come up with, and you put them on, or you're already wearing them, and now you had to leave the house, travel for miles to get to the safe destination. On the way you had to fight, climb, do whatever's necessary to survive. Would this be good for your survival? Well, how do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let the review begin. Criteria number 1, comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level of all the boots and shoes that I review on this channel, I do a 3-mile run non-stop in the boots, and then a 5-mile walk right after, non-stop, no pauses in between. Sometimes it's really hard, but not in this case. In this case, it was very easy to run in these and walk in this. I honestly enjoyed it, and there are a few factors that contributed to that comfort level. The very first one, grab my scales, of course. The weight, this is size 10, and the size 10, prepare to be impressed, 12.1. Let me tell you guys, for a mid-size waterproof boot, 12.1 is unbelievably good. And to kind of give you the reference numbers, if you're looking for something lightweight, you're looking for something under 20 ounce. The more under 20 ounce it is, the lighter it is. The more over 20 ounce, you start feeling that weight on your feet. You start getting fatigued after, a mile or 2 of a run, and about 5 miles of walk, you start feeling that weight on your feet dragging you, slowing you down. All right, 12.1. That's almost half of that 20 ounce mark. Very impressive. But we don't stop there. There is more. The flexibility of the outsole, obviously, you would imagine, is very important, especially whenever you're running. As you can see here, it's ridiculously flexible. It's super flexible. Excellent job there, Colombia. You can run properly in this. In fact, I would use this as my trail running shoes any day. They are comfortable. The outsole is flexible enough to run properly, but it does not end there. Let's go to the inner sole, and let me take out the inner sole, and I'll show you the inner sole here. Nothing special. In fact, that would be probably one of the things that I would upgrade in this boot, the inner sole. There is not much of a heel pad, there is not much of arch support, there is not much of a cushioning. It's really just very basic. For $70, I kind of expected a little bit of a better inner sole, but not that big of a deal. It still does the job, considering that the midsole is super soft. Paired with this, it feels pretty good. Once you remove it, it goes straight into that midsole, with the exception of that little lining that is going on in there. But let's move on to the padding. Padding, as you can see, the tongue is thinly padded. The same thing with the shaft, very thinly padded. On the inside, of course, the whole boot on the inside is padded. Not much, especially here at the front, not much, but still enough. Obviously, with the sizing, we will talk about it in the sizing criteria, but make sure to get it in the right size to experience the full potential of comfort level of this boot. But overall, I do have to say I am very impressed with the weight. The weight is unbelievable. The inner sole could have been much better, but it's not a big deal. You can easily upgrade that. But the weight, you can't do nothing about it usually. And this right here, 12, wow, impressive. Let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. Now, these are waterproof. As you can see, the tongue has the gusseting, and the gusseting is the same level as the lowest part of the shaft. And let me tell you exactly how much. That is about 4.5 inches, just like the lowest part of the shaft. 4.5 inches. I personally think that Columbia should release 2.0 version of this boot with a little bit of a taller shaft, probably another inch, so it's 5.5. I think 5 to 5.5, that's an optimal shaft height for a mid-size boot. 4.5, I think, in my opinion, is a little bit low. Not a big deal. I mean, you're gonna have extra weight. Of course, you're gonna add to that 12, maybe another ounce or two, but because it's already so light, it shouldn't really be a big deal, but it's definitely worth a compromise. Anyway, the waterproofing works good in this boot. Nothing too special. This is not fancy Gore-Tex or Terex waterproofing technology, nothing like that. This is Columbia's own waterproofing technology, and it does the job. Now, proofing wise, again, there isn't really much to brag about here. There is this kind of a reinforced material going around the toe, but it is still super soft. Don't drop anything on your toe, you're gonna feel it. Now, the ankles, while they are barely covered, they're barely covered. That's why I said that 1 extra inch would have just nailed it. I wish they were at least 1/2 inch taller, just to provide like the perfect coverage for your ankles. But this is it right here. You get what you get. The padding here does offer a little bit of protection, not much. The heel, again, is sort of reinforced, but still very soft. And of course, your outsole, overall, because it is so soft, don't step on anything sharp, because it will go through it like a butter. Keep that in mind. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Quality-wise, Columbia, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the brand. Even their controversial stuff recently that they've been doing, I do like the products that they make. I wish they weren't, stayed away from politics, but nevertheless, they do make good products, and very, very affordable products, on top of that. And you can look at the reviews. I mean, one of the main hiking shoes that I use on most of my hikes, besides my Salomons, is the Columbia Newton Ridge. I mean, I use that boot now for 2.5 years, and it's still holding on strong. It took me miles and miles and miles. I mean, I did in that boot probably a good 300, 400 miles, if not more. Yeah, probably more. But and it is still holding strong, and it's very affordable, and it's good. So I do have a lot of trust in this brand. Now, speaking of the design features, as you can see, very basic lacing system here. Super basic, nothing crazy. All of them are closed hooks, just going through the fabric, nothing much. The strings are not my favorite. They're flat and thin. I don't like these, but these work fairly fine. And of course, they add to the lightweightness, I don't know if there's a word like that, but they do add to the lightweightness of this boot. Let's move on to the criteria number 4 now, outsole, traction stability. So whenever I do that run, 3-mile run and a 5-mile walk, I do it on a variety of different surfaces, starting with older asphalt, then the newer tarmac, then dry sand, wet sand, dry grass, wet grass, then the trail surface, then rocky road, then the concrete, then the rubber, and then the marble and tile, and also I tested on the rock wall that I have in my house. Okay, so this outsole is more on the flatter side, as you can see. Now, there is this kind of a stippling pattern, if you know what stippling is. If you don't, check it out, do your research. It's not very aggressive, but I can see how Columbia tried to make it a good balance between aggression and flatness. Nevertheless, it's still more on the flatter side, more on the slippery side. It is decent on the flat, shiny surface, but a little bit slippery. It is slippery on the wet grass. Not too slippery, but still slippery. So keep that in mind. The real reason why they are slippery is because of the cheap quality of the outsole rubber. Here, as you can see, the rubber is very soft, very, very mushy, all right? Now, these bigger design patterns, they are all right, but these thinner ones, you can definitely tell. Look, yeah. So you have a little bit of a problem with the stability. I wish, honestly, I would spend a little bit more money for sure on a good quality outsole, because it is very, I mean, very, very important whenever it comes to anything, any serious hike, right? I think it's worth of paying extra money. So I think Columbia should definitely do a 2.0 version with a better quality outsole. The pattern is good, it's just the quality of rubber is lacking a little bit. But let's move on to the criteria number 5 now. Temperature. Obviously, I wouldn't talk about anything cold. These are not winter boots, even though they're waterproof. You're gonna slip and slide on ice and snow, so this is not a winter boot at all. But as for other 3 seasons, really, really good. Surprisingly great in hot weather. And I say surprisingly because usually waterproof boots, they are very warm to wear because they have that extra layer and they lack breathability. Not the case with these. They are very light and breathable, so overall pretty good for hot weather as well. Let's move on to the criteria number 6 real quick. The sizing. These are true to the size, although you do want to get a half a size bigger so you have a little bit of that extra space in the toe box. Very, very important. All right, let's move on to the criteria number 7 now. Balance of application. So if this was your ultimate survival boot, would this be good for your survival or not? Well, I think that this has a great potential. It's very comfortable. It's super lightweight. So if your survival strategy is to just run away as quickly as possible, or more of a physical combat where you want to be mobile, quick on your feet, right? If you're physical fighting, this is good. I like this a lot. And I mean physical fighting, not like, you know, you're shooting at someone from the distance or something like that. No, you're actually hand-to-hand combat, right? This is very good because it does not restrict your movement. You can be very fast in this. You can run, you can climb, you can fight, you can be quick in these boots. My only complaint is that I wish there was a little bit more of ankle coverage here. I wish there was a little bit more protection in the toe box, and I wish the outsole was a little bit more reliable as to being higher quality rubber and a little bit better inner sole, but again, not a big deal because you can easily replace that with whatever you want. There's plenty of custom aftermarket insoles out there. In fact, if you do have any recommendations on the insoles, drop them in the comments below, because I see a lot of comments about the insoles being good, bad, this and that. But if you do have a personal experience with some specific brand or specific model, drop them in the comments below. Drop the links to Amazon in the comments below. That would be very helpful. And maybe one day actually I will do a big comparison on just insoles for you guys. Let me know if you want to see that. So overall, I think this is fantastic. It could be better, yes, but this is pretty good. Especially, let's move on to the criteria number 8, the price. Especially for the price. I mean, $70. It's really hard to beat these in a $70 price range. I mean, if I wanted to go more hiking oriented, right? I would definitely go with Newton Ridge, Columbia Newton Ridge. They are also in the $70 price range, and they are much better for hiking. But if you want to have that good balance between tactical and hiking and lightweight and trail running, this is fantastic. I really do like this boot. I know sometimes in my reviews I'm very picky and I'm very detailed. That's just because I want you to know as much about what you're buying, what you're getting into. I want you to have that information so that once you get it, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what he said in the video. So that's exactly what I got. I don't want you to, this is fantastic, get it, buy it. Buy it through my link because I'll make money and I don't care if you like it or not. No, I actually do. I really don't care if you buy it or not, because if I'm honest in my review and you don't buy this, well, you will go to another one of my reviews and buy that. So at the end of the day, you'll still buy something. It really doesn't matter to me. I just want you to have the right thing. That's really the goal of these reviews. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about these Vitesse Fasttrack mid-size boots from Columbia? What do you think about this review? If you have any requests, drop them in the comments below. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.